Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is finally back in session. Kind of? Welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. With me, as always, virtually tonight, not in person, the man who once was able to open the Autobot Matrix of Leadership inside a Budweiser factory and destroy it, Mr. Drew Celestino.
I'm taking down the evil empire from within, Carl.
Did you do the whole, light our darkest hours? You opened it up and just destroyed it?
Sure, yes, all those things. I'm sorry, I'm not exactly all there right now. So, thanks for humoring me with the Skype show this week, because our whole household here is ill.
Yeah, it's like forces have been conspiring against the courthouse for almost going on a month now.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks to say. Yeah, it's not cool.
So we got some stuff to catch up on. So let's get right to it, sir. It's been 3 weeks since we've been together recording. How have your weeks been?
They've been okay, except for this recent outburst of sickness in the household. I can't say that I've done anything major of note. Just been hanging around. I finished Spider-Man on PlayStation.
Yes, we must discuss.
Oh, dude, it was great. I think we both kind of said it, and it's like it's like the perfect distillation of Spider-Man that I can. It's like the most perfect distillation of Spider-Man that I can remember in any medium outside of comics, maybe ever.
Yeah, it's and folks, spoilers. We're gonna get into some story details here. It is the single best, and I'm trying to think as I say this because this is a big statement. It's the single best visual. The ending of the game is the single best visual representation of when great power comes great responsibility, and you're just heart-wrenching at the end. I was in tears.
I'm proud of them for going there and having the guts to do what Marvel Comics have been terrified to do for at least 20 years now.
Well, video games don't have to. They're telling a contained story. They don't have to rely on how do we explain this couple issues down the road? And this is not the first time we've seen something like this. Like in the Batman Arkham series, the Joker died.
Right.
Legit died. And we're like, holy crap. In this, Aunt May dies at the end of this game.
She does.
And the way they do it is Dr. Octopus has released a virus out into the world or out into the city. And so for the last quarter of the game, the city's just on fire.
Yeah.
There's criminals all over the place. Anywhere you go, you're taking enemy fire. And at the end of the day, Peter defeats Doc Ock and he gets the cure for the virus, but there are hundreds upon hundreds of people infected with this virus, and there's only so much cure. And they need what they have to synthesize and mass produce the cure for everybody. And they're doing this in the room where Aunt May is lying. You can hear the heart monitor on her, and Spider-Man says to the doctor guys, can we use just a little bit to save her? And doctor's like, no, we won't have enough to make enough for everybody then. And just this heart-wrenching moment of you seeing Peter, because Aunt May reveals, and they did this in the comics when Aunt May died, 20 years ago. Spoiler, she got better. That Aunt May had always known that Peter was Spider-Man. And she just wanted to she knew in the game, she knew that was coming, and she's like, take off the mask. I know it's you. I just want to tell you how proud I've been of you. And it's so heart-wrenching that Peter is holding the thing that can save the person who he loves the most and has been the most important person to him throughout his entire life. And all he can do is live up to the utmost. With great power comes great responsibility. And another saying that comes to mind, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. And like he's just with her and the screen fades to black and you hear the heart monitor go that steady beep, and dude, I was in tears.
I was kind of shocked that they went there. But yeah, excuse me, it it reinforced the way it was done. Excuse me for my illness, by the way.
No, I'm probably gonna be caught myself.
It really just reinforced the whole notion of great power, great responsibility, and right down to having Aunt May herself have to kind of live up to that as well.
Yeah, and it's just
she knows the right thing to do, and Peter had to make that choice, and I mean, he had to save the city. So
yeah,
with Aunt May's blessing. So yeah, great stuff. And then the post-credit stuff was interesting.
Yeah. That was the only thing I was like, okay, all right. So the post-credit stuff is Mayor Norman Osborn.
Well, first the mid-credit thing with Miles and Peter.
That was awesome.
I like that we're getting both of them in one universe. Yeah. That's great.
They have really, not only in this game did Miles work in very well, although I could have done without the Miles and MJ missions.
Yeah,
And again, we both agreed on this, except the one where Miles is hiding from the Rhino. That was just really cool.
That was kind of fun, yes.
They have really worked Miles Morales into the Spider-Man mythos very well. And, between the comics, the success of Into the Spider-Verse, he is now more than ever before like an accepted and welcome part of that mythos. He feels like a good balance to Peter. It's like he's kind of Peter's chance to correct some of the mistakes he made when he was younger. So Miles doesn't make the same mistakes. Now, I'm really enjoying this character in both comics and the game. So yeah, the mid-credit scene where Miles reveals that he has spider powers now, that was really cool. But yeah, the end credits stinger, which, oh, good Lord, those credits took forever.
They sure did. And I was scared to skip them because I thought if I skipped them, I would miss... I think my TV went into power save mode, dude.
Yeah. There's easily a half an hour of credits.
It was brutal.
So
how many? And then I'm every once in a while, I would look at like what was being scrolling through, and I'm like, I'm sorry, all of you don't need to be listed here.
Yeah, or we can maybe put more than this row of names on the screen at once.
Well, that too, but then they're listing like the accountant of like the accountant of the beta testing team. Like, dude, you did not have anything to do with this game. Come on.
Yeah. So the post-credit scene is Mayor Osborn. You learn in the game originally when the game starts. Harry has apparently gone abroad to study. But then you learn later on that Harry actually had contracted the same disease that killed his mother, and he went away to get treatment. And then the post-credit scene, you find out that no, Harry has not gone away. He's being kept and treated by Norman in a secret lab in their home. And he's in like kind of like a Bacta tank looking like Luke Skywalker and Empire on Hoth. And then the very last thing of it is you see something lunge at the window of the tank, and it's the symbiote.
Yeah.
And you're just like, Okay, all right. You've just given me one of the most incredible experiences with a character I love and a fantastic game. So you have a lot of credit. So I'm gonna patiently wait and see what they're going to do with that. Because we all
I'm not gonna. I don't think they're just gonna make Harry Osborn into Venom. I don't think that's the plan. But I think that the symbiote is going to be used as like Norman found it or something and realized it had some kind of like life sustaining properties or whatever to kind of keep Harry alive while they worked on a treatment or something. And then it's going to get out, and then it'll find Eddie Brock, and then we'll go from there.
Well, we'll find Peter first.
Well, yeah. Well, maybe we don't know. We'll see. We'll see what how they do it in the game.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they're going to be able to put a good narrative together, I think.
Yep. So now you have not, as of yet, gotten the downloadable content.
No, but you did.
I have. I finished the first chapter, which dealt primarily with the Black Cat. There's a whole arcing story over all three chapters, which is basically a gang war in New York City, everyone's scrambling to get the pieces of the Fisk Empire. So you're dealing with that. It's $25 for all three chapters. I think it's worth the purchase.
Okay.
Because you're not just getting additional story content, you're getting additional challenges and stuff.
All right.
There's new bases you have to go against, and holy crap, dude, the bases in the second chapter of the downloadable content are the hardest bases in the game, bar none.
Really?
Just hammer thugs with sable weapons up the wazoo.
That doesn't sound like fun. Those sable bases were a real chore.
Yeah, and they have clearly tweaked the AI of the enemy combatants a bit, because they are much more coordinated in their attacks, especially those cursed jetpack guys.
Oh, those guys are the worst, man.
Yeah, because in some of the bases you're having to deal with like 3 or 4 of them at a time.
My biggest problem with those guys, like we're nitpicking this game now, like we said, the wall crawling could have been better. The other thing I think would have been better is if there was a way to easily attack the jetpack guys. I felt like there should have been a way to easily web up to them, but I couldn't figure that out, so I just had to jump and then hope that when I started pushing attack, it would know to start attacking them.
Well, you can just web them up with your web bursts.
With the bursts, yeah, but I mean, like, if there's like 5 of them or whatever, I just want to jump. If I want to jump up and attack one, I just have to jump and hope that it knows to like attack that one. What I mean is, like, if I have one of my sights, can I just like web up to him? You know what I mean? Like, just target him directly. Like when you get into a big scrum, let's say I've got 4 guys on the ground and I've got one jetpack guy. The way I want to do it is I want to take out the jetpack guy first, because usually they're packing some kind of annoying artillery, and I would like start pushing attack or try to jump out of the way, but it would rarely know that I wanted to get to the jetpack guy. So I wish there was an easier way for me to like, no, I'm targeting this guy and I want to web up to him and beat the crap out of him and then come back down. But again, this is minor stuff. The game is so good. Yeah,
it's really freaking fantastic. So yeah, there was that. So getting back to the weeks.
So I finished Spider-Man, and I actually finally pulled the trigger and I bought Hollow Knight for Switch.
Okay.
It's really good. It's a Metroidvania style game. So that's my favorite genre, as we know. But it's done in a kind of very clean animation style. Like it looks very hand drawn in a way, and you're like a bug, and it's like a whole world of bugs. It's hard to explain what I'm talking about, but it's really cool and it's really interesting. The environments are gorgeous. The gameplay's really, really tight, and I'm only a few hours into it, but it's really, really enjoyable.
Awesome.
Yeah. That aside, man, The Royal Rumble was the other night. We all watched it. We bet on it. That's the only real interest that I had. I didn't win, so whatever. That's it. That's about it.
So, like, just nothing for the Rumble? Nothing good? Like, were there any, like, surprise entrances? Or,
nope.
Please, God, tell me Kenny Omega didn't show up?
Of course he didn't show up.
Okay, good.
Everyone that thought that was going to happen doesn't understand how contracts work, and also clearly doesn't listen to a word the man says. So no, he
okay, well.
No. I'm not saying you. I'm saying this. WWE fanboys are like, and the ultimate irony of it is WWE fanboys don't watch outside WWE stuff. So, like, to them, Kenny Omega is just another bingo hall indie darling, as they like to think anything outside of WWE is. It's all bingo halls out there. Apparently, that's all you can have is bingo hall wrestling outside of WWE. But yet, they'll dismiss that stuff all day long. But yet they want Kenny Omega to come to WWE in the worst way. It's like, well, wait, if he's such a nobody working in flea markets, why do you want him so bad? So it's these people don't think that through, of course. In any case, no, he did not show up because his contract is still good for 2 more days to NJPW exclusive, and the latest being the Elite. There is a ticking timer, X amount of days left on Kenny's phone, the countdown thing that they did for the Bucks and for Adam Page and for Cody. They had this like countdown thing going on their phones. They didn't know what it was, but they revealed it eventually to be the unveiling of All Elite Wrestling's logo and Double or Nothing for the event in May. Now Kenny's phone is doing the timer. So it's going to go off in about probably 7 days now, but at the time 9. So that just happens to coincide with a press conference in Vegas where they're having the Double or Nothing event in May. So I would expect Kenny Omega to be there and officially announce his All Elite Wrestling signing. But I don't really know much else besides that right now. For all we know, he could have a deal where he works both companies, but the New Japan thing with All Elite is still up in the air.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty. How
about you? You had you were sick first, and then
yes, I was. Yeah. So let's go back to like the beginning of our exodus from recording, if you will. So I caught a cold.
Yeah. Hello, Carl.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I had to mute my microphone because I was coughing and sneezing and whatnot.
See, it's going around.
Yeah. See. So I caught a cold 3 weeks ago. It was kind of rough, and now, like with both of us having kids, the dynamic has changed. I'm willing to get you sick. I don't care about that. All for the glory of the show. But Grant is just so dang adorable. I don't want to get him sick or anything. So,
well, likewise, I didn't want to have you over tonight because I didn't want you to bring this home to William. So,
yeah. So, I said I couldn't do the show 2 weeks ago. You stepped up, did a great solo episode.
I tried.
It was good. It was solid. You did really good. So that was good. And then last week, my cold had migrated to William, and Julie was out of town on business. So, and William was sick, so I kind of had to, as I said in the video I posted, dad up and stay home and take care of William. But I was able to manage to get like a live stream out there, which was kind of fun. So that was cool. In the meantimes of all these happenings, I am pleased to say that effective this coming Monday, I will no longer be amongst the unemployed.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, I have found gainful employment. Not only have I found gainful employment, but I have found gainful employment at the same company that your wonderful wife and friend of the show, Mr. J. Gelsomino, work at. So
My wife, J. Gelsomino?
No, I said your wonderful wife. Well, yeah, I guess you could. The way I said it, you could take it either way.
It's fine. It's fine.
World. So no, Jen and Jay both work for the company that I'll be working for, and that is actually starting Monday. So this 3 months sabbatical, sure, we'll call it,
sure,
is coming to an end. So yeah, that's definite good news, and it's a good situation because before that offer came in, there was another offer that I was just going to have to take to just kind of bring this all to an end, and that offer was not nearly as good as the offer that came from the company that I'll be going to. So good times there. As we discussed in a couple of previous shows, in this time off, I have endeavored to explore the science and philosophy and methods of brewing coffee.
Okay.
Which has been, because you've got the beer thing down, so that kind of inspired me to up my coffee game. So I mentioned I got the French press, which is really good. We have also acquired a couple weeks last week, I think it was, a burr blender, which is a coffee grinder that feeds from the top down, and this is kind of the preferred style of coffee grinder, like for any place that any coffee house or something like that, if they grind their beans there, this is how they grind their beans. It's got 18 different settings from like fine to coarse of how I want the grind. And the nice thing about burr blender is you get a nice even grind throughout. Unlike with the blade blenders, it's very uneven. And the best way I can describe it is going from having like a deli sandwich at Tim Hortons to having a deli sandwich at a New York City deli.
You're selling me. I kind of want one now.
They're fantastic. Ours was not expensive at all. It was $50 at Kohl's, and it's a very basic one. You get the same grind, and you select how many cups worth of a grind you want. The only drawback of the Splendor is that it starts at 4 cups.
Okay,
but you look at the amount you get out of that, and you're like, I condense that kind of into like. Yeah, I get 4 cups out of it, but you look at like the size of the mugs you use and whatnot, it's really only 2 actual cups. So yeah, they are fantastic. I've had coffee out of like a traditional drip, like your standard coffee pot maker, and I made it a couple times with my French press, and it's fantastic. Highly recommend them. I started watching Punisher Season 2.
That makes one of us.
Oh, Drew.
Yeah? Go on.
It's not good.
I've heard this from several people.
It's not good. It's not like Iron Fist bad, but it's not good. All the problems that we had with Season 1 magnified.
How about that?
And like so very little actual punishing. And they try to make up for it that when the punishing is happening, it's extremely over the top. And I'm like, I don't need super over the top every time. I want like a constant stream. And like, it's just, I can almost guarantee that you're going to hate it.
Well, you're not selling me, so I'm going to take my time in getting to this show.
I mean, I'm like halfway. I'm at episode 10 or 11 right now, and it's just kind of like watching a car wreck. You want to see how it's going to end. but I'm very glad that we won't be doing the episode by episode breakdown of this one because, that would be a slog. That would be a slog.
Ew.
So yeah. Sorry, man. Just remember the good times. Remember Daredevil season 2, where he was perfect.
I will. Again, it was so.
Okay, so, and then, let's see, I'm trying to think of what else. I know there's a bunch of other little things I'm forgetting here, but last Saturday, there was an X-Wing tournament. And the X-Wing tournament it's a tournament that a bunch of us do every quarter. We call it the Jabba Cup Invitational. So we don't do it at a store. It's done at a friend's house, and we had 10 people at this last one. And the Jabba Cup is like this huge, oversized Jabba the Hutt coffee mug mounted on a trophy base, and it's kind of
nice.
It's kind of like the Stanley Cup. When you win it, it goes home with you for a quarter, and then you bring it to the next one, and then either you retain or you pass it on to the winner.
Is your name get engraved on it?
We are going to start doing that, yes.
That's awesome.
And so the winner of the previous Jabba Cup gets to determine the format of the tournament for the next Jabba Cup. And I am pleased to announce, Drew, that I have won my first Jabba Cup.
Attaboy.
And my second X-Wing tournament in a row. So yeah, I feel very good and comfortable in my current X-Wing game as it is. So yeah.
Well done, sir.
Praise be unto me.
Praise the maker.
So I think that's pretty much it for my weeks. Not a ton of stuff.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So, dear listeners, if you'd like to tell us about your weeks, and geez, we're a half an hour into the show, and we're just gonna we got a lot of stuff to catch up on, people. If you'd like to tell us about your weeks, send us any emails, questions, or comments to the show. You can do so at the following locations. You can do so on Twitter and follow us at Devils Do Pod. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. That being said, Drew, we have some questions we have to catch up on.
All right.
Starting out with the bigs and the wedge of the Devils Do, Mr. J.J. Semino and Mr.
Only
Alan
one
Waiters.
can make it out alive.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah. But the one that goes is going to have a damn fine mustache when it goes. So starting with Mr. J. What was that?
Like I was going to say, in that case, Alan's probably going to win here.
Starting with Mr. J.J. Semino, Drew and Carl. If you could take a comic book character and switch their base of operations, like when Daredevil went to San Francisco that one time, who and where would you want them to move to?
We're going to take the Punisher, and we're going to send him to Tampa. Oh, wait, that was the movie. I'm sorry. My bad. Whoa. Sorry. Fever dream there. Boy, I don't know. That's
What if we took the Punisher and sent him to the suburbs? Like a nice gated community.
It's going to be a lot louder once he moves in.
Where he had to deal with criminals and homeowners associations.
He could go after white-collar criminals. They live in gated communities.
Sure.
And deserve punishment. So, yeah, let's do that. Frank Castle, Trust Buster. I like it.
That's great.
I like it.
That's funny. I would take Batman, and I would move him to a community that has a very, very low crime level.
Are you trying to raise the crime level in this city?
No, but I think it would be the most pure way of testing if the theory that Batman creates his own adversaries is true. Because, like, if the best thing he could do to patrol the city is just kind of perch on Mrs. Weatherbury's chimney and watch the stickball game, we'll see what happens with that.
Well, there's that escalation theory with Batman. So I feel like you introduce Batman to an area, the ratio there will be a course correction by the criminal community, and the insanity and violence level will rise to match Batman. Probably.
We could see. Okay, Drew, with the advent of All Elite Wrestling, what 3 WWE/NXT competitors would you take? No restrictions.
No restrictions. So just whatever goes. The Revival, that counts as 2, I guess. I'm going to count them as 1 because they're a tag team. So the Revival got to go. They need out of there in the worst way. Any tag team worth their salt needs to get out of there, to be honest with you. So the Revival are going to go over there. I think Cesaro would be a can't-miss top guy in All Elite Wrestling. He could be... He would come in and he would make a fantastic title contender champion. Even like he just has the look, he's got the skill set. He would come in a made guy, I think, and he could put on a match with anybody. It would be great. And well, it's funny because the news coming out today is that Dean Ambrose will not be renewing his contract in a couple months, and that begs the question, where's he going to go? But you know what? To be honest, though, I don't really want him to be... I don't need him in my All Elite Wrestling. So let's go with guys that are underutilized and need a little more shine and are capable of more. And I'm going to... it's an obvious choice because it's been said before, but a guy like Chad Gable would do well to get out of WWE and go to All Elite and just tear the house down every night and show off what he's got and make a name for himself.
Cool.
There you go.
So none of like the big names, none of the
no. You know why?
Main event names.
Who are they? Like who?
I don't know.
Well, that's my point. Like the guys don't move the like. None of WWE's top guys mean anything. Like they've done such. WWE has done. They've kneecapped themselves by making it all about their brand and not about the people that they employ, to the point where the guys that they employ just aren't that, they don't matter. I don't care about them. So why do I want to go see, like, how excited am I supposed to get about these guys that have been on top and have delivered nothing memorable in terms of match quality over the last 5-6 years? I'm supposed to like want to see those guys go and try and put on a match with Kenny Omega. Like, get out of here! No thanks. I don't trust any of those guys to do it.
Okay. What about the ladies?
Oh, take almost the entire division out of WWE because the thing is, man, WWE has a lot of women's talent, which is great because I mean. It's great that women have more of an opportunity to wrestle because they can wrestle, and WWE is the biggest company, can give them a big platform to do it. But the problem is, like, they book it like crap. So, you know, Sasha and Bayley have to get out of WWE, in my opinion. Sasha Banks and Bayley, I've seen them go. They are tremendous wrestlers, and they have just been completely screwed on the main roster. So. If they're not going to get any traction in WWE, get out of there. If they leave, they'll be immediately over wherever they go, and I think they would thrive because wrestling fans love them and know that they can wrestle, and they would get an opportunity to wrestle and not have their characters butchered outside of WWE.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right, Carl, since I highly doubt they will let you sit near me at work, where will World War Pop take place? So, J.J. Smino has a lot
World War Pop, huh?
World War Pop has a lot of pop figures at his desk. And in my previous place, not the most recent place, but the one I worked for before that, I had a ton of pop figures at my desk. I would say hopefully maybe we could swing it so we could sit in the same row, and then we'll just set up our pops like armies marching towards each other at the floor of the row. And every day just like move them a little bit closer to each other. I think that'll work.
I think there's going to be a tactical invasion no matter where you guys are. Like, your pops will just start to slowly encroach towards each other and inevitably meet in the middle, and then you will have a confrontation for the ages.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. All right, Jay, thank you very much for questions. Really quick, before I get on to the rest of the questions, I meant to do this before I started the questions, but, we're just we're a little rusty this week, folks. Want to remind you all that we will have a live show coming up this coming Monday, February 4th, at Iron Buffalo on Millersport Highway in Amherst. You can find the address on the event page that we have on our page. I'm going to shoot out some reminders of that coming up. It starts at 7 p.m. We're going to be doing a discussion on the evolution of the comic book shop, kind of where it started at and where it's at now. And we're going to have some fun guests. We're going to have it's going to be a good time. If you guys were at our first live show, I think we had a really good time there. We highly encourage you to come out, check out Iron Buffalo. Definitely throw some shekels their way, as they're being really great hosts for us. So please come and check that out. Hopefully the weather will permit us to still do that.
That and my health.
Because past couple of weeks, winter has been like, oh crap, I forgot to be winter, and we're getting all winter now.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to Mr. Alan Waiters. Carl and Drew, when will you do a review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
I still have to see
probably,
it.
Yeah, probably when we see it.
I feel bad that I haven't seen it, man. I really do, but
Yeah, it's been a question of time and or funds.
Baby life is real.
One of those issues have been resolved. So yeah, we are making every effort to do that, but we're both parents, and both of us being able to get out of the house together on the same night, let alone by ourselves, is tricky. Have you given up on reviews of comic books? No, I don't think we have.
We've been meaning to talk about the death of Daredevil for a while now. We just haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, I think you'll probably do that at the live show.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's definitely something we mean to do when we kind of like take a step back after, we get done with the Daredevil season breakdown. We're going to have more time for stuff like that. So I think comic reviews, we're going to make a point to get them more frequent in the show. He says, may I suggest Martian Manhunter and the new Conan Barbarian, which he has suggested to us many, many times.
Alan's all in on those. I'm going to probably check out Conan at the very least. I'm not sure, but I gotta see what's available at the store when I go pick up my books. So
yeah, neither book is really calling out to me. I mean, I'm glad that you found them and they're entertaining you, Al. That's great. There's just like Conan's never really done anything for me. I like Martian Manhunter. I actually think there's a world out there where DC started their cinematic universe with Martian Manhunter, and it works very well. Because he's he could be a good if you're putting him into a world where all these characters already exist, he's a good audience point of view character. But yeah, Carl, what is your guilty pleasure in terms of binge watching shows on Netflix? Oh, I'm definitely feeling guilty about Punisher. I'm not sure about feeling much pleasure from it. I don't think I really necessarily have a guilty pleasure. Actually, if I had to put something in lines of a guilty pleasure, it's a show that we watch with William called We Bare Bears. And it's just a fantastic show because, it's a cartoon, but it's a smart cartoon. And it's just really well done. So anytime William wants to watch We Bare Bears, I'm all in on that. Since you're done with Spider-Man, will you go back to Octopath Traveler or try hard mode on Mega Man 11 or give Red Dead Redemption 2 a try? I'm probably not going to go back to Octopath Traveler. I just couldn't get really back invested into the game once the stories were not converging in some way. The game is great. I will definitely grab a sequel if it comes out, but I don't have any strong urgency to go back and finish off the stories. I will not be trying Mega Man 11 on a harder mode because I'd like to keep my Switch in one piece and not be driven to the point of throwing it through a window. Red Dead Redemption 2 I'm probably not going to play just because time, desire, any number of things. Drew, is this the year Nintendo takes over the console market?
No. They're doing just fine, but they're not gonna. I can't see any kind of takeover happening. And it's that, which is fine. They don't need to take over. They've carved out a nice little niche for themselves, and that as long as they're doing well and making games, then I'm a happy camper.
Yeah. I think it was a big news article 3 weeks ago, Nintendo Switch, biggest selling console of 2018.
That's 1 year. Yeah. The PlayStation 4 sold a gazillion for 5 years now,
Yeah, but PlayStation and Xbox One are both 3-4 years old, and Switch is brand new, and it's a really good system. So, yes, it should be the best. This is not a news story. This is, by the way. So, I don't know.
It's fine. The Switch is doing very well, and that's enough for me.
The Switch is great. It doesn't need to be the number one console on the market. I'm with you. It's doing just fine the way it is. PlayStation wins this generation as far as sales numbers go. It's just the way it's going to be. So thank you very much, Alan. Next is from Mr. Nate Lockhart, friend of the show.
Hey.
And Nate writes in, you guys, Drew makes a killer, all capitals, a killer stout. It's so good.
Oh, you finally had it. All right.
Yeah. Well, this is from January 21st, so he had it a while ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's so good. Also, a silly question. What's weirder? The Toei Spider-Man series where he has the giant robot or the U2 Spider-Man musical? I'll hang up and listen, Nate.
Oh, wow. The U2 musical, while bizarre, at least is the Spider-Man that we know, right?
Yeah.
The toy one from Japan is a radical departure from what we know as Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's got a giant robot, and like you do in Japan. There's different. I'm trying to differentiate in my head between weirder and what I'd rather watch. I think I'd rather watch the toy one. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, that one's probably also a weirder one because the musical, while being deadly for numerous actors, it still tries to stick within the realm of what we know to be Spider-Man.
Yep.
All right. So thank you, Nate. On to Mr. Cyrus Moore. Greetings, gentlemen. The new season of The Punisher is recently released, but find myself struggling to find motivation to watch. The cancellations has seemed to take the wind out of my Marvel TV sales. I'll finish it eventually, but man, it's just one big bummer. Anyway, not to bring the show down, I'll continue my question. Here's the scene. A virus has infected a comic book character, and the virus spreads. It turns everyone it infects into a genetic copy of that original character until they infected the whole world, an entire world of blank. Who would either of you pick to be that character as he works with himself and himself and himself to cure the disease and return life back to normal? Apparently Cyrus has never read the Spider-Man clone saga.
So run this by me again.
Okay, so basically what it boils down to is a character in comics catches a disease or a virus that genetically keeps replicating themselves.
Okay.
Until they can possibly populate the world. So who would we want to see do that?
Wow.
I would want to see Reed Richards.
Okay.
Simply because, like, it would look like at first that it's going to be easy to fix this, but as more Reeds get involved, more scientific variations are introduced, and so Reed can just never come to a conclusion with himself.
So basically you're saying they're never going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Let's go with Superman. There's always been interesting multiple Superman angles in Superman comics, so why not one more?
Yeah. Okay.
And I trust and I trust Superman and his Superman clones will find a way to save the day because they're Superman.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much, Cyrus. On to Mr. Chris Taylor. Figured I'd ask this on the show. I had asked her if Deadly Class on Sci-Fi was worth checking out, to which he replied, Remender. Maybe I need some comic nerd splaining, but what's the controversy with Remender? I just got psyched because I saw Henry Rollins made a cameo in the first episode.
Now that is awesome. Okay, here's the thing. I've actually heard that that's a good comic book. My problem, and you know, people. There are people that tend to like Rick Remender. I'm just not one of them. I find him to be needlessly over the top, and I don't have any desire to read his comic books. So
okay,
he had a really terrible run on Captain America that followed a really, really great run on Captain America. So that's not doing him any favors for me personally. His Avengers run was similarly bizarre and stupid. And I think he's the one that we have to blame for the concept of Frankencastle. So, yeah, I'm all good on Rick Remender.
Yeah, it seems that because I read Deadly Class, and it is a very good book. I haven't watched the series as of yet just because there's so much other stuff out there I still have to watch. Deadly Class is really enjoyable. Think like Harry Potter, but instead of training wizards, you're training assassins.
Oh, like you do.
What?
I said like you do.
Yeah, like you do. It seems that Rick Remender excels on his creations and struggles on established IPs.
Okay. I mean, that's a fair assessment, I would say.
Okay, cool. That does it for the questions. That closes our cross-examination for this week. Thank you all to all of you who wrote in. Sorry for some of you it took you this long to get to your questions, but you know, life finds a way.
Sure does.
So now we go on. We've got some news to catch up on. Oh, where do we want to start here? Why don't we start at the top of the list? Drew, it's it's an amazing world we live in sometimes, and sometimes you get surprised, and sometimes you get what you expected. I think some people may have been expecting this. Some people may have been surprised by it. But Drew, we live in a world now where a Marvel film, a Marvel Cinematic Universe film, has received a nomination for Best Picture of the Year from the Academy Awards. Now, this
Thor:
being,
The
of course,
Dark World?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
It was Iron Man 3.
Oh.
This being, of course, Black Panther. Now, Drew, I understand that as far as award shows go, you don't put very much stock in them, if any, but you still got to admit this is kind of cool.
I mean, it's something. I mean, it's a great movie. Is it Best Picture of the Year? No. But I mean, the Academy's doing it because they know that they feel like they're out of touch with the regular viewers. So they're like, okay, put all the movies in that are made money. They must be good, right? I mean, I don't know. It just points to the silliness of all of this. Like the whole film industry is kind of weird right now because everybody wants to make all these. I mean, all the money is in the big, huge tentpole flicks, and like small movies don't really get any play. Like they come out, they exist, but like nobody sees them. At least I feel like nobody sees them. They don't get released in theaters. I don't see commercials for many small movies anymore, but I know they're out there. I don't know. It's all kind of weird, and I don't know. I feel like you're always going to have that segment of people that thinks like, well, it made all this money. Clearly it was the best. And it's like, that's like saying that McDonald's sells X amount of million hamburgers a day. Clearly they're the best. I mean, not really, like what you like. And, obviously some stuff's going to be better than others and it should be recognized in some way. But I mean, the Academy Awards to me are just kind of There's a lot of politics behind it, and once you kind of know how the sauce is made, you start to think like this really doesn't have the credence it should. I mean, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but I think America puts too much stock in it all.
No, I'd agree with you there, and I think that I don't think it's solely a nomination of, hey, let's get back in touch with the general public, because I think the Academy is starting to kind of look at factors beyond just the film and just the cultural event that Black Panther became, on top of how it's a very good movie. I think it definitely warrants a nomination. Now, we both know it's not going to win.
Right.
Because there's two reasons I see it not winning, other than the obvious, it's a Marvel film and they're not going to give the Best Picture award to a Marvel film. But the main two reasons is, one, you don't see it really nominated in any of the other like upper tier categories, and then two is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is also nominated for Best Picture of the Year. So I think a lot of Academy members who may want to vote for Black Panther will be like, well, I can't vote for a Marvel film for Best Picture, so I can make it up to them by voting for, Spider-Verse for Best Animated Film. So, yeah. But it's still just really cool that, it's just a fantastic time we live in, that we have a Marvel film that is nominated for Best Picture, and it's a Marvel film that is based on a character that you can make the argument was more obscure than Iron Man was when he got his first film.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool. It's fun. It's neat. So yeah, there's that. What else we got here? I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago we got, in a big reveal event from NetherRealm Studios, Mortal Kombat 11 was revealed.
It looks
It
cool.
yeah, it was. I think the
Super understatement. It looks very, very cool.
yeah, it's visually a very stunning game. It might be one of the best looking fighting games ever made, and just I really dug the whole way they revealed it. Like it wasn't just a trailer; it was this big whole event. And like when you hear about a lot of the other stuff that was going on at the event that you could do, it's just they really kind of just did it well. And like there was, you could get free Mortal Kombat tattoos. They had a bar there. They had like, it was just from all accounts a really cool event.
It was quite the star-studded affair.
Yes, and we find that Ronda Rousey is playing Sonya Blade.
Oh. So
Yeah.
is Sonya an anti-vaxxer now and has a problem, with trans people?
when they first brought her out, they said, "We've got Ronda Rousey to play Sonya Blade." I was like, "Well, of course you do. Sure, why not?"
Well,
then the more and more I thought about it, I was like, you make her a cop, and then she basically is Sonya Blade. So that's actually
it's on the nose. It's fine. I just celebrity voice acting is just not something I ever thought I needed in a Mortal Kombat game. But whatever.
Yeah, no, I get you. The game, as we said, is very graphically very impressive. It seems that they are bringing over, as I've said in the past, Injustice has kind of become the field testing for new mechanics that they later introduce into Mortal Kombat. And we saw that with the interactable environments that were in Injustice 1 and then got brought over to MK10. And in Injustice 2, they had the gear system where you could change the suits that the heroes and villains wore. Different parts of the suits gave different attributes to the character, and that is being brought over to MK11. Although it seems they've refined it more, and I like the way that this works more. Now you can choose what suit is on the character, and then you can assign the different attributes to that part of the suit. They're not locked to that specific part of the suit. So you can really, truly customize the way your character looks. And we did see some really interesting customized options out there.
See, that part of it is interesting for me, but at the same time, it's also kind of like, wait a minute. Like it's cool, but then I see like the degree that you can go to. And if you make Scorpion into a dude wearing white and red, is he really Scorpion anymore?
No, he's Storm Shadow.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's kind of silly in a way. Like in a franchise like Mortal Kombat, anyway, where where the color coded ninjas were like, part of the they were like the iconic thing. Suddenly, you can make them look completely different than that. It's like, well, wait, is it really him anymore? But whatever. Yeah. No, it's very cool. I'm curious to see how it's all going to play out. I'm not sure if it's going to be a day one purchase for me, but it certainly has my attention more than 10 did. I'd like to see the full roster, of course. I think they only showed off 8 characters, but it looks cool, and I hope it's good.
Yeah, and they've always got really fun air quote guest characters in there, and there are 2 leading rumors for who the guest characters are going to be for this game. One of them is Spawn, which was a heavy rumor from the last game and carried into this game, which, neither one of us are huge Spawn fans, but he fits.
I guess. I see this is a more modern thing that they've done with Mortal Kombat. I don't need it.
Yeah. The other one is the other one is the main guy from Doom.
Okay, now that's different.
And Drew is sold.
But it's funny you say that, because it didn't. Wasn't it rumored that Doom guy was going to show up in Smash?
You know what? The world we live in, my friend, it would not surprise me.
That would be insane. Oh,
that's crazy. So yeah, you know what? you, the listeners, have, if you've been listening to our show, you know that when it comes to fighting games, Drew skews more Mortal Kombat, and I skew more Street Fighter. I do enjoy the Mortal Kombat games, and I looked at this one, I was like, I kind of would not mind picking this up. And then I thought about that more. I'm like, I have a kid who's going to be 3 in March, and I have a wife who's easily grossed out by anything gory.
Yeah, this might not be
played this game. The answer was maybe for half an hour, 45 minutes a night after they both go to bed.
Yeah,
and I was just like, we're gonna let this one go by.
Or you buy the Switch version, and you can take it with you in the bathroom.
No, not gonna do that. Switch is optimal for many, many things. Fighting games is not one of them. So yeah, that's Mortal Kombat 3.
11.
Surprise! 11, yeah. The 3 comes from our next news item here.
Oh.
A surprise announcement that I don't think any of us really expected. I think there was a time where everybody wanted this, and then after certain things happened, we're like, yeah, maybe we're better not having this, but we're getting it anyway. Drew, they're doing a Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah.
And they gave us, I don't want to say a teaser, but they gave us, a video thing of Ecto-1 in a farmhouse, because when I think Ghostbusters, I think of farms. And apparently, according to Ernie Hudson, whose sources are right up there with Alan's, everybody is on board. Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and himself. Fortunately, obviously not Harold Ramis. We lost him a couple years ago. And it's going to be directed by Jason Reitman. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, I'll say this much. The thing is, there's a lot to unpack with this, and I don't know how much I want to get into all of it, but it feels like a big overcorrection from what they tried to do with the last Ghostbusters movie and the outcry and all the controversy surrounding it, and then the movie's subsequent disappointing returns. So now they're kind of swinging the other way, okay, we got to get the one that not for nothing, the one they should have done to begin with. At least setting it in the same universe would have been the right move, which they didn't do, which I think was a huge mistake. So now we're getting that one where it's set in the same universe. Okay, good, cool. But, it is kind of like an overcorrection from where they were. But whatever, we'll see how it turns out. Jason Reitman doing it, okay, well, your dad made the first one, so hopefully you have a grasp on the property and what people kind of like about it. He'll have a different perspective, obviously, than his father will, him being much younger. But he'll also be of an age where I think what resonated for Ghostbusters for people of our age, maybe he understands, and maybe he knows what we might be looking for, I guess. So we'll see how that turns out. And regarding everyone being on board, I would find it very hard to believe Bill Murray is actually coming back for this, but I saw some picture floating around the internet today of Bill Murray in a Ghostbusters outfit, and it looks current. So
that was actually, I think that was lifted from an award show.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure. I'd be surprised. They had to beg him. I don't know how they got him to do the cameo for the last one. They must have driven the whole Brinks truck up to his house. But we'll see about that. I'd be surprised. I heard they're casting kids though, and they want the Ghostbusters to be a group of young teens.
I mean, okay.
So
if you want to do a torch passing movie, I get that.
I think that's what it's going to be, and you know what else I think it's going to kind of be, and what if that holds true, this is Sony looking at something and going, "Ooh, we can do that with our thing." And I think someone at Sony finally got around to watching Stranger Things, specifically season 2, when the kids all dress up as Ghostbusters for Halloween, and they're like, "Oh, we can do that." So
yeah, I don't know what to expect from this, because like I was perfectly content with the Ghostbuster films we've had. Now I haven't seen the most recent one. I'm not going to really judge until I see it. It made some obvious missteps in not connecting it to the existing films. But it may very well be able to stand on its own as a funny movie. But like, I've never really had a strong desire for a new Ghostbusters, only because it just seems very product of its time. And I know that we're living in, the age of nostalgia and everything old is new again, and things like that. It's just I don't know.
It was lightning in a bottle. And look, they tried to do it again with Ghostbusters 2, and I like Ghostbusters 2. Don't get me wrong.
Ghostbusters 2 is great,
but it is not as good as the first movie. And I think trying to recapture it again, it's like, dude, you had a hard enough time trying to do it the first time. I don't know that you can do it again. Like, I just don't know that it's possible. Hey, prove me wrong, but.
Prove me wrong, kids.
That first movie is magic, and things like that are hard to duplicate. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So yeah, we will see what develops from that. Also, there was an announcement that came down that longtime comics artist / writer George Perez announced that he will be retiring from comics. And the world of comics will be all the lesser for it, as he was an incredible talent, most notably on Avengers and Justice League. So yeah,
he was famous for basically being able to draw every character in a universe, often on the same spread. Like that dude is George Perez is a legend. Teen Titans, Crisis, like you said, he did the Avengers. I mean, didn't he do the Avengers JLA crossover?
Yep.
I mean, look, dude, yeah, he's done it all. That guy's a legend, and that's sad that he's retiring.
His gold jacket is assured.
Oh, dude, first ballot Hall of Famer, George Perez,
easily. So happy trails, sir. We wish you all the best. Drew, we have to talk about something difficult here. I know you don't want to talk about it, but for the purpose of the listeners, we have to talk about it. We got an announcement last week from Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
That, we had said Metroid Prime 4, the earliest we would expect to see it would be holiday of this year, and it turns out we are not going to be seeing it anytime soon.
Well, no, we're not going to be seeing it anytime soon because they have scrapped it, and they're going back to square one to begin development again. Yeah, that was a rough day. I mean, it's difficult. As a Metroid fan, it's very difficult because I want new content very badly from this franchise. But Nintendo came out and said that development of Metroid Prime 4 was not living up to expectations, and it was not living up to what they needed it to be and what fans expect out of it, and that they have canceled development. Well, they've scrapped everything they have so far with the development team that they have been working with, and they're going back to the drawing board, and Retro Studios is consulting on the project now, and they will be spearheading the development now of Metroid Prime 4. So it's a bad news, slightly good news situation.
Yeah.
So I mean, just remember the words of Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo royalty. Okay, he once said famously, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad." Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If it was not going, I got to say, how often do you see a developer publicly come out and say with such sincerity and forthrightness that they are scrapping their work because it stinks, and they're going back to the drawing board? Like,
Yeah.
I got to say, that's quite the noble step of Nintendo to take, and I think that also relays that they understand the gravity of the situation. I think they know that this game is, the funny thing about it is Metroid's not even like a major seller, but the fans that love it really love it, and they don't want to burn them again. I think the other M stink is still in the air, and they don't want to have a repeat of that. So they're doing the right thing, and they're going to make it right, but I just wonder, like, why didn't you just have Retro do it to begin with? Even though, here's the problem with the whole Retro Studios thing. A lot of the guys that made Metroid Prime 1 at Retro Studios, a lot of those guys are gone. Like, they're long gone. So it's not quite the same studio anymore. But, flip side, Retro Studios has been responsible for a lot of great stuff on the Wii U and the Switch, including the Donkey Kong games, Tropical Freeze and all that. So you could argue, like, even though the guys who made Metroid Prime 1 might be gone, that studio still has a knack for understanding a property and a game and doing a new version of it and bringing it into 2019 or whatever. So here's hoping.
Yeah, it's a way that you kind of wish more companies would behave.
I guess so. I mean, again, they were upfront about it.
A lot of companies would be like, okay, just finish it and throw it out there, and it is what it is. They'd just be like, hey, we took a swing on it and missed, or
they just don't say anything.
Yeah.
And then games linger in development hell for however long, and fans don't know anything at all. Like, case in point, the Final Fantasy VII remake. Like, who even knows what's going on with that anymore? No one has a clue. They don't say anything about it. They announced it. They showed footage. Well, they showed something, and then nothing. You've heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, at this point, it's pretty fair to say it's never going to happen. But Half-Life 3, insert joke here, like. Valve just totally went dark and said nothing about it, and they never publicly canceled the game at all. And it strung fans along for a decade or more now. And guess what? That game's never coming out. So Nintendo got out in front and just kind of said, "Hey, it stinks. We're sorry. We're going back to the drawing board." It does make me wonder, though. Well, not wonder. It makes me curious. Like, what we're never going to see what they have, and I really wish we could see what they've got and what's good about it, what's bad about it. But we're never going to see it.
Yeah. So that being said, best case scenario, when do you expect to see Metroid Prime?
Dude, at this point, This is looking like a Breath of the Wild situation, where it might be the final game for the Switch, and it might be the launching title for the Switch 2 or whatever. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 2022 at this point.
That sucks. 'Cause I know how much you were looking forward to it,
dude. It's Metroid, man. I mean, you want to get me on board with whatever you want to sell me. You just say Metroid. I'm opening my wallet. I'm throwing money at you.
Yeah, that bites. But let's lighten the mood a little bit, Drew. We have not been to the old DC dumpster fire in a good long time. But yesterday
apparently they've put it out. They put it out by dumping money on it. Because Aquaman made $1 billion. Aquaman.
Just because something makes money doesn't mean it's good.
No, I said that today on this show.
Yeah. And I've heard good things about Aquaman. I do want to see Aquaman at some point. But we got again, like, I guess you would call it a teaser at best. At most, it looks kind of like a costume screen test yesterday for the Birds of Prey movie. And
whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry, but like, it's twofold. One, I have no interest in a Birds of Prey movie. Two, I have even less interest when you just make it a weird, quirky excuse to bring Harley Quinn into it. Do you see the new title for it?
No.
It's called, hang on, I want to get this right so that you can hear this. Okay. The title of the movie is where is it? Where's the full title? All these articles are like dissecting the trailer, but they're not actually giving the title of the movie.
Is it like Harley? Is it like Harley Quinn?
Okay, there it is. No, it's worse than that, dude. You ready for this? I got it. Got it right here. I'm looking at it right now.
All right.
Remember, so, okay. Before I tell you, because I can't believe you don't know. Is it fair to say, to some degree, that Harley Quinn has basically become DC's Deadpool?
Yes.
Okay. That's annoying.
Much so.
I find Deadpool annoying, and I find Harley Quinn annoying. And that's annoying to me because I did not used to hate Harley Quinn, but I do now. Okay, Carl. The title of the film is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yeah. Let that silence sink in for a minute.
The silence was because I had to physically prevent myself from saying the profanities that were going through my head.
Do you smell toast, Carl? Are you okay?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's so bad.
The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So in other words, they're not taking any of this serious. They're Deadpooling this up, is what they're doing.
That's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I'm good here. We don't have to belabor the point here. This is nonsense.
And we haven't seen, like, aside from this costume test, we haven't seen anything from it.
I didn't see much of a costume for Harley Quinn in this, so I don't really care.
Yeah. So
pigtails and a mallet does not a Harley Quinn make.
No. Trying to think. I think that just about does it for the news.
Well, okay.
Unless you can think of anything else.
That I'm not gonna lie, man. We could wrap this up, and that would be okay because I'm, as you can tell,
you're hurting.
Oh, listen to me. I sound terrible. I'm just the worst.
Well, we'll wrap it up there, folks. No episode breakdown this episode because we had so much to catch up on, and Drew's kind of hurting. So we're gonna call it a day. Definitely can't say we're gonna call it quickly because we're working on an hour and a half here. But we definitely appreciate you listening and stopping by again. Please come out to our live show this Monday at Iron Buffalo, Millersport Highway in Amherst. It's going to be a great time starting at 7 p.m. It's a great place, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to post some reminders of that throughout the week, and we'll be back. You'll be able to hear that live show. That will be our show next week, and we'll post that. But of course, it's better to experience it in person, I think, personally, me. Because,
Hopefully
Good times.
hopefully I'll be well by then.
You better be well by then, because I'm not about to. You're the one who runs all the equipment,
Oh,
and you are the co-host. So
semantics.
okay, semantics. If you would like to send us any questions to be read at the live show, any comments or questions, you can do so at the following locations. You can follow us on Twitter at Devils Do Pod. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Devils Do Pod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. Drew, that being said, any final thoughts?
Be careful out there the next couple days, folks. It's supposed to be pretty crummy, and if the way I sound is any indication, don't let this happen to you. So stay inside, stay warm, cuddle up with your comics and your Switch controllers, and play some games, and just don't subject yourself to the elements, because you're not going to win.
Alrighty, that will do it here for us in the courthouse. We appreciate you stopping by again. Court is adjourned.